Yo, what's up? Bringing you that MLB Show 19. So as of right now, I've completed all of these moment challenges. I know we're supposed to be getting new ones maybe every week, but with these starting ones, I found something out that will make them a little bit more easier to complete, and a couple other tips that definitely will help you guys out. So before we get into it, make sure to drop a like on the video, show some support, because like I said, these definitely will help you out and make your moment struggle a little bit more easier. So just to show real quick, Babe Ruth, I got completed, Ben Zobrist, Willie Mays, and Bryce Harper. So I'm not BSing, like I actually have these moments done. And I'll show off some clips of me actually doing some of these. I didn't record every single thing, but I do have some clips. So this is the main thing. This is the main thing right here that will make your life a little bit more easier when it comes to these moments. And that's going to your options, going to my sliders and adjusting your sliders. So this actually works for some reason. I don't know why, but what you want to do is for hitting missions, you want to put your human contact all the way up, your human power, timing, ball frequency doesn't really matter, but solid hits, you definitely want to put that up. If you're having any pitching missions, you definitely want to put starter stamina up and all that stuff. And then if you're pitching, you definitely want to put CPU contact down and power. So these are some big sliders that will make it a little bit easier. You know, CPU timing can go down and all that stuff. Solid hits, starter stamina. I think if you put that down, it might make the PCI a little bit bigger for yourself and make it a little bit easier to get some base hits. Control and pitcher consistency doesn't really matter. You kind of can force strikes, but they still throw balls. They definitely still throw balls. Pitch speed doesn't matter. The other thing that I guess really matters right here is fielder run speed. So you can make it a little bit slower in the outfield, get some more gap shots, make them a little bit weaker in the outfield. And this is only if you're hitting. Like if you're doing pitching missions, you might want to flip it and put it around to the max so your fielders can react quicker and get those outs. Like this is what I did for some of the pitching missions. And literally the CPU couldn't get hits. I was throwing one hitters and like two hitters, and the games were going by super quick. So that's one thing you want to do. And then base runner speed is another big one. If you're hitting, you want it at max. If you're pitching, you want it at the minimum, so it's easier to, you know, get infield grounders and get those base runners out. So that I think that's the biggest one right there. Those are the biggest changes. Those are the biggest changes that you want to change for the sliders. Now I will say this, just cause human power and contact, timing, solid hits are maxed out, you're not guaranteed a home run every single time. But when I did this, it felt like the ball was being hit harder, and even when I missed my location in certain spots, I was getting base hits. So this definitely gives you a little boost, but it's not going to give you a home run or a base hit every single time. So that's just a big thing to throw out there right now. But especially for pitching, when you have like the fielders on low and the base running speed high, you definitely get around a little bit quicker, and it's going to make it that much more easier to complete some of these missions. So changing the sliders is probably the biggest tip right now that can make these moments a little bit easier for yourself. And then you just want to save them. So it's pretty simple. Save them right here, and then you save them. I will say this, the other thing is, like, every time you enter the game, so if you boot the game up, you don't have to like make your sliders again, but you have to load up your sliders. So you got to go to my sliders and load up sliders. So if you play tomorrow and just hop onto the game, you're gonna have to load up your sliders again and do it that way. And then once you load up your sliders from the main menu, I don't think you can do it from the Diamond Dynasty menu. I didn't try it from the Diamond Dynasty menu. I always tried it from the main menu. But you go to your moment, you enter whichever one you want to do, and then just start going at it. So when I was doing these, Bryce Harper was probably the most difficult one to do. I think you had to do 4 home runs in 11 games, and I couldn't do it. I switched my sliders, and literally the first game I did it, I had the sliders up. I completed it with like 3 or 4 games remaining. So at that point, I realized this might actually work. This actually helps us out and makes it a little bit more easier. So that was the biggest thing. And in some of these clips, I'm using directional hitting. So that might be tip number 2, to switch between directional hitting and zone hitting, depending on what the moment is. So I found out with Bryce Harper, like his directional helped a little bit if you can pull it into right field. So that definitely helped. But like honestly, I don't even know how you use directional hitting. I was just putting it in the direction I wanted to. So it works sometimes and other times it didn't. So I was switching between directional and zone hitting. And for other moments, I think Willie Mays and maybe some Babe Ruth moments where we played in polo grounds, directional hitting definitely helped, trying to get it in right center field into the gap, into that deep right center field. So using directional in moments like that definitely works out, and it helps you get into some gap shots. So that is, I feel like, another big tip that can help you guys out. Now the third tip that definitely helps, and it's kind of a little cheat. I think I did it with Anthony Rizzo right. I think I needed 2 RBIs left. I think that's the clip I'm showing you guys. But in here, I needed 2 RBIs left in our last game, and I didn't get it. But what you can do is if it's in like your last game, if you got 1 game remaining, or just any game remaining, to be honest, you can pause the game and dashboard. So that's exiting out of the game while you're still in the game and then reloading the game back up. So you guys can see it on screen a little bit. And then once you do this, you have to load up your sliders again because you're restarting the game up. So you have to reload your sliders up again, and then you can go right back into the moment, and you still would have 1 game remaining, or whatever games you have remaining when you dashboarded it. So that's a huge tip right there. If you need that 1 big hit or that 1 big RBI, you know, whatever it may be, and you have 1 game remaining and you can't get it, that's a big cheat right there. That definitely helps you out and definitely will help you get these done. So as I was playing, these were the 3 things that helped me out. Changing the sliders, using directional hitting in some moments. You know, not all of the moments I felt like made it easier on directional, but for some of the situations, it definitely made it easier, especially when you had to pull it into right center field. Pretty much like when you're playing in polo grounds, that's where I saw it be the most impactful and actually helped me trying to get into those gap shots. And then the third one is if you're playing in a moment where you have multiple games that you have to get certain missions done, you can dashboard, give yourself additional opportunities, and when you get back into the game, you still have those same amount of games required or remaining. So those are the 3 biggest tips right there that will make moments a little bit easier for yourself. Now while we're at it, I might as well show you guys the stats on these cards. If you're going after these moments, I pretty much just did them for the XP and stubs because they give out a decent amount of XP and you get like 1,000 or 2,000 stubs for each one. So for Bryce Harper, he has decent contact numbers. Actually, they're not really that great. He's decent against righties, and then he has decent vision and gold fielding for his tier. So I believe it's his rookie series card pretty much where he won the rookie of the year. That's why it's a hardware series card, but it's a decent gold card. It's nothing really that special. The next card we have is Willie Mays. So versus righties, he's not really that good. I would say he's a nice option versus lefties. So whenever lefties on the mound, he could be a really good player to have in your lineup. Maybe he could be a nice pinch hitter also because he has good contact versus lefties. His power versus lefties is not bad. He has good vision, and he has diamond tiered fielding with 92 speed. So I feel like this could be a good option in the outfield. He's definitely really nice in the outfield because he has diamond fielding and all that. But hitting wise, especially versus lefties, he's someone that could really be good in your lineup. Next we got Ben Zobrist. So he has pretty good contact numbers, especially versus lefties. He has good vision, good discipline, good clutch, silver tiered fielding, and 52 speed. Good thing about him, he's a utility player, so he can play multiple positions. Even though if he's playing in his secondary position, he will get a little knock in his fielding. I don't know if like because he's silver fielding in his primary, if he goes in his secondary, if that drops him down to bronze. But I think you lose like 5 attributes for each thing. Maybe it's 10. I don't really know. But it's something like 5 or 10 attributes. But he's still a viable option at first base, short, and maybe even the outfield. Even though there's definitely better options in the outfield. Second base for him is pretty fine. And he has nice contact numbers. And then the last one is diamond starting pitcher. Babe Ruth. He has 111 stamina, 92 hit per 9, 73 K per 9, 56 walk per 9, and 99 home run per 9. So hit per 9 and home run per 9 numbers are really good. K per 9 numbers not bad. Walk per 9 numbers decent. But he has a 92 fastball, 75 curveball, 89 two-seam, and an 80 changeup. So for a starting pitcher, he's a lefty. He might not be that bad. And then his hitting stats, he has 56 contact versus righties, 75 versus lefties, 51 power versus righties, and 35 versus lefties. So contact-wise, he's decent, especially if he's pitching for you. It's a little extra bat in the 9th spot or wherever you bat your pitcher. But I think he could be decent. He's not crazy good. You know, it's not like a prime Babe Ruth that can hit and pitch. Maybe even like Shohei Ohtani, who had like a pretty nice card last year. But it's still a viable option, and we'll definitely try him out at the pitcher spot. But that's pretty much it right there. So these 3 tips definitely will make moments a little bit easier for yourself. And for me, I pretty much walked through these moments once I made these changes. And like the Bryce Harper one, like I was saying, I was struggling. I couldn't get the 4 home runs in 11 games. And once I made that slider change, I did in my first game. The other ones were a little bit more easier with these. But like I said, also, like these aren't guaranteed results. You're not going to get a home run every single time. You're still going to line out. You're still going to pop out. If you're making pitcher changes, like the CPU still will get base hits. But it's a little boost. It gives you an extra boost. And it makes it a little bit more easier on yourself. So nothing's guaranteed, but you definitely can see the difference when you change the sliders. I also didn't show any pitching clips, but if you are pitching and maybe you need like strikeouts or stuff like that, the best thing to do is throw inside fastball and alternate with an off-speed pitch away. So you go fastball high and in, change up or off-speed low and away, and then go back to the fastball. Easiest way to get strikeouts versus the CPU doing it that way. And if they get base hits, normally they're weak hits because of how you have the slider set up and all that stuff. So that's all I got for you guys. Once again, if this helped you guys out, make sure to drop a like on the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.